Welcome to Golf Channel Academy. I'm your host, Martin Hall. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, with David Toms at your Golf Academy. Welcome.
Thank you.
You've won 17 times around the world, 3-time Ryder Cup player, 4-time President's Cup player. This is your full swing special. Let's get at it.
All right, we'll do it. We're going to start with a 54-degree sand wedge. The reason why this is so important to me is I have to be better than average on the tour with this because I'm not a long hitter. I'm more of a position guy. I barely seldom reach par fives and two. So inside of 100 yards, I have to be better than most to be able to compete. So this is the way I start my warm-up routine, practice routine, whatever it might be. Under normal conditions, I start with my 54-degree and just warm up that way. Hit some full shots and, start working on distance control, contact, tempo, and rhythm in the swing. And I'll show you a couple of those real quick.
Please do, yeah, absolutely. Target's out there at about 100 yards.
Well, that was pretty good. Nice contact first shot. So, and for me, it's, I'm not too worried about, is it drawing a little bit? Is it fading a little bit? What trajectory? Right now, I'm just warming up. I'm just trying to get a feel for the ground, get a feel for what my swing is that day. And nice full swing, not necessarily full power, just full swing and work on rhythm for just a little bit till I get warmed up. So here's another one for you.
Well, a beautiful golf shot there. One thing I noticed there, you take a divot certainly, but it's not a great big pork chop filet mignon out of the ground, is it, by any means?
Absolutely not. For me, I might be considered a picker when you get to 6, 7, 5 irons. It's all about trying to find the bottom of your golf swing. I'm not really that steep into the ball. I'm a nice, pretty shallow into the ball. It'll be a little bit of a divot with a sand wedge or lob wedge, even through about an 8 or 9, but not a big, deep divot for me at all. So I can play under just about any conditions, that being said, because I don't have to worry about digging too much when it's soft or bouncing really too much when it's firm. So just a pretty much average divot for me. And as long as I contact ball first, I'm not really concerned about the depth of the divot or anything else. So here's one more for you.
Questions that we get so very often. Grip pressure, arm pressure. You are known for having a beautiful, full, flowing, rhythmic swing.
Mm-hmm.
Grip pressure, arm pressure for you?
Well, grip pressure is the same with my wedges as it is with my putter, as it is with my driver. Very important to maintain that pressure throughout the swing, even if it's really on a real hard wedge where you have to dig deep to get it out of a lie, or it's just a soft pitch around the green. I just want to maintain that pressure. Now, for me, it's interesting you talked about in what goes on with the arms. I mean, to me, this is really how I control my distance, is the speed of the arms through the ball. Now, some people say, well, it's the speed that between your feet. It's, some people control speed from the top. Some people control speed right at the ball. I'm kind of an overall, I'm controlling it throughout. So I never want to feel like I'm really long and have to decel on a shot, or I'm really short and have to accelerate. To me, my contact is best when I feel like it's, here it's back and then it's through. So obviously, the through part is probably a little bit more important with distance control, meaning it's through a little bit faster as opposed to through a little bit slower based on how far I want it to go. And obviously, I've hit enough balls to where I know this much power goes this far, this much power goes this far, and everything in between.
So basically what you're saying, David, is the distance is incredibly important to you. You don't do it by length of backswing, particularly by length of foreswing, but you do it by the speed of the swing with your arms. Is that a fair summation?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And obviously you have to train that. You have to be comfortable with, what that means, what the speed means, and how much speed are we talking for 50, 60, 70, all the way up to I can hit a sand wedge 110 yards. So you got to be able to hit that club all those different distances. So you obviously have to practice it and get a feel for it.
Wonderful information. Hit me one more if you would, please. Then they're going to take us to break. Beautiful rhythm indeed. Great stuff there, David. When we come back, we're going to move to the 9-iron, which obviously is a longer swing, but still the distance control, very important. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with David Toms. We're back with David Toms at his Golf Academy, 3-time Ryder Cup player. We've moved on from the wedge now. We're hitting the 9-iron. Normal distance with the 9-iron for you, David?
I'm right at 140, just under 140. I feel very comfortable not having to add distance or add different shape to the shot. So, you know, I feel good about that. High 30s to 140.
So you wouldn't try and stretch it too often by a large amount then?
You know, I do not like to stretch my short irons for sure. You know, I like to hit them pretty straight and try not to stretch distances unless I'm, you know, unless I have a lot of adrenaline and it's a tournament or the greens are real firm. I really base my club selection on a nice, I think you hear Mickelson talk about all the time, a stock shot.
Yep.
And all that is what I would hit on a driving range warming up. So that's
well,
what I feel
let's see a
with.
stock 9-iron here,
Okay.
if you would, please.
All right.
And, of course, I have a couple of questions. I usually do.
Just nice rhythm through the shot. So another good shot there.
You always swing, and perhaps it's not conscious, but you've always swung in all the time I've watched you in what one might call perfect balance. And I know you were telling me you're a wonderful academy here now. You have
Right.
ways of measuring that with the balance platforms.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about balance and how important that is.
For me, it goes back to that comfort. And so not only do I want to be comfortable through the setup, but the whole golf swing as well. And so again, we're talking about a 9-iron, and so I'm controlling my distance. I feel like it's really an arm swing still with a short club. It's an arm swing that controls the distance, so I don't feel like I have too much lower body movement. So it's pretty easy to keep your balance when you're not moving your feet and your legs all around. But it just happens for me. I feel like it's an athletic stance. I used to be a second baseman when I played baseball. I played basketball as a kid. You know, it's always in that athletic position, so that's very important. And just, those are all pretty good shots.
They're very good shots. Now, we've lasered that target there. It's actually at about 140.
Right.
So I wanted to see if you can really dial one in here. But
Okay.
just before we do, you said you had played fairly recently out in California in a tournament where it was a bit colder.
Yes.
And so for the viewers at home who may not know, your stock shot won't always be 140, though, will it?
It will not. And the most important thing is for your average golfer is to know how far that their shots go, right? It's not how far that you think your 8-iron goes 150 if you're a 12 handicap, but how many times do you hit it good enough for it to go 150? So let's factor in, you know, the miss hit, the shape of your shot, what's actually happening. So we don't want you to measure off your best shot as an average golfer. We want you to measure on what it normally does go, right? So you very seldom see an amateur golfer over a green. If you see one over a green, it's probably they sculled their shot. Okay, so take that into consideration. Really know how far your clubs go. I know how far my clubs go. All that factors into it. And we make our money being able to control how far the ball goes.
Well, talking of how far the ball goes, I'm going to laser this target with my Bushnell. It's 141 yards.
All right,
Let's
so
see if you can land one right on it.
145 from where I'm standing. We have a little bit of downwind. This should be just a nice, solid shot. So that's got to be 12 feet left. Should be about pin high. So
You've had that 12-footer before.
I have had it. I'm usually pretty good from there.
David, that was absolutely fascinating, great. We've got a towel here, and when we come back, we're going to show you how a simple towel, inspired by David's grandfather, a simple towel can help you all play much better golf. Don't go anywhere. You're watching David Toms from Shreveport, Louisiana. We're back with David Toms. A magnificent golf shot from right by a towel. Now, I teased before we went to break about it was your grandfather that inspired this. Tell us all about it, why you use it, when you've used it, how it's helped you.
Well, when I first started playing golf, my grandfather was my instructor, and he used to read all the Toski books, and one of them had a 2x4 in it. And, you know, when I would get off track down at the bottom of the golf swing, that's what he knew to put down there. Did you give me a visual and also be able to work on something?
So,
you know?
so where would he put the 2x4 when you were back 13, 14 years
Well,
of
it
age?
really depended on, you know, what was going on in my golf swing.
Okay.
You know, if it was on the inside, then I was probably taking the club back too far inside and dropping it too far to the inside, so we'd put it there. If it was something that I was taking it outside and then across it, we'd put it on the opposite side of the ball where I could stay end to end. And, you know, it really worked. And not only, you know, back then we didn't have all the training aids that they have now to do those types of things. So it was just something I always carried to the golf course. He always had it in his golf cart, and just give me check and see where we are. Even if I was hitting it okay, let's just see where we are. Are we getting close to being off or not? So in my later years, I've kind of gone back to the same idea, but I go to the towel. And what the towel does is a little more forgiving on your golf clubs, first of all. And it gives you that visual that you can, you know, always have with you.
That's an excellent place to put the towel for an elite player, for a Ryder Cup player.
Yes.
You've played in hundreds, probably thousands of Pro-Ams. You've
Yes.
represented some wonderful companies. The CEOs of these companies, where would you probably put the towel for them?
Well, it would definitely look something like this. It would be on the other side.
Right.
And really what that does is it helps you to not come over the top with especially with their long game. I mean, with the driver, you know, you always see everybody in the right rough, and even a ball that starts in the center, it fades. And so what they're trying to do is they get to the top, they're trying to put their hands on the ball rather than the club head on the ball, and so it gets them steep and over it, and they would hit the towel. So, like I said, it's easy on your clubs. You know, that would show them an end-to-end move, which is, you know, ideal for what you're trying to do to hit nice, solid, straight shots and get the most that you can, most power that you can. So it would look totally opposite for your average guy.
Let's see you hit one from just there. I know
Okay.
you can do it.
Yes.
That one's easy for you.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing I would like to ask you, I mean, influenced by Bob Toski,
Right.
maybe one person removed, but someone I spent a lot of time with, have you at any time worked on working the toe of the club up through the hit? Is that anything you worked on?
You know, not really. I've always said my hands aren't very fast. And so the way that I feel like I release the golf club is more with rotation through the shot. Mm-hmm. And I'm just holding on to the club, and whatever it's doing, it happens to do. So if I ever get into where I feel like I'm twisting it all, which a lot of players do, and they can create a lot of club head speed and power, it's just not for me. I'm more into accuracy, and the way that I square the club is to kind of rotate through it. Now, the times that I don't feel great about that is when I have on jackets, when the weather's cold and nasty and rainy. It's just harder to kind of turn through it to close that club face. And a lot of times I'll leave it open and I'll just have to play a fade all day long. So, but anyway, I'll get through it.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the driver. David Thomas has definitely improved his accuracy over the last few years, and he's going to show you exactly how he did it. Back with David Thomas, and of course it's the driver now. David, as the years have gone by, actually your accuracy has improved considerably with your driver. What would you attribute that to?
I would attribute that to short and crooked is a bad combination. Oh. But, you know, I just have to be accurate compared to everybody else. You know, early in my career, I was a top 50 guy in distance. And now I'm at the very bottom. So the last few years, it's improved, but it's because I've, you know, really worked on it and know that that's a big deal. If I had 15 or 20 more yards, would I give up some accuracy? Absolutely, but I don't have that. So I've got to be to where I can play.
Now, you said with the hybrid that you hit down a little bit.
Yes.
With the driver, not so?
Well, no, absolutely not. I think ultimately you're trying to maximize your carry and your spin numbers and everything else. For me, I hit up about 4 degrees on a driver, but I don't really think about it. You know, if I see my driver swing in slow motion, everything stays pretty good. And right before I hit the ball, just a slight lean to the right, and that creates an upswing with the driver. And so I'm pretty, even though I'm not a long hitter, as far as smash factor and you know, distance for swing speed and all that kind of stuff, I get just about max power out of my golf swing.
Let's hit one more, and then
Okay.
I just want to ask a little bit about that fade.
Okay.
That's so good, it's ridiculous. So for you, you said just before we started filming, fade suits you a little bit better. Do you think players have one side suits them better than the other? Some people are better drawing, some people are better fading the ball.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's kind of what you see, right? I mean, that's what you visualize. Where do you like to aim? I like to aim down parallel left, down the left center, and let the ball fall to the right. Now, I can draw it. I just don't feel great about it. Certainly under pressure, I don't feel great about it. But some guys see a big high draw and it looks pretty and it goes a long way, but every once in a while it hooks too much or it stays to the right. And I feel like for me, if I can just, you know, set up down the left side and just swing, I don't have to feel like I stop and let the hands pass. I don't have to feel like I have to rotate the face. I just feel like I just swing the arms down the, you know, down the fairway and there it goes. So very important for me with the driver is I want to get to the finish through the shot. You know, so many people, your average golfer just hits at the ball with a driver. So if you hit at the ball with a driver, that causes that hitting down, okay, and then you don't follow through. I think it'd be a great tip for them is that we set up, we see that target, I see that flag, and I'm just going to swing to that target. I'm going to let the ball get in the way.
What would be your best piece, putting you on the spot here a little bit, but your best piece of advice to someone who's, you know, a weekend warrior, someone who loves the game,
Yes,
but struggles with the driver? From David Toms, best piece of advice.
Well, the best piece of advice is that I would say, let's start off, and I want you to give me 75% power, okay? Because you're trying to give me 125 right now. Okay, and that's causing your problems. So you give me 75% power, and if it goes in the fairway, let's go to 80% power.
Right.
And that's gonna work up to a point of no return where the ball starts going all over the place. Because, you know, for maximum distance, we wanna hit in the center of the club face. Okay, so if 95% power hits toe one time, heel one time, we want to put it in the center. So you're better off at 80%, center of the club face, stay balanced, and have your shot go down the fairway. So to me, that's the best advice, is the guy that's trying to hit a driver as hard as he possibly can and get the most out of it. Chances are you're not going to hit it solid. You're not going to hit it in the fairway. You're going to go look for your ball somewhere, or you're going to have to go in the pro shop and buy some more.